All right, so as I was saying, my ex was Snapchatting a guy. She's pregnant with my baby, like probably like 3 months pregnant at this point. Maybe 4 months. She's Snapchatting with this guy, Jared, and I see her Snapchatting in front of me, smiling, like, and uh, and that's really disrespectful again, and it's immature, and it's my grandpa would say it shows a low level of software, a lower level of software. She couldn't contain herself, control herself, low impulse control, and she's a drug addict, and she's a baby mom to a El Salvadorian guy who's a pizza man, and she, basically I made a mistake getting her pregnant. But again, I wasn't thinking straight because I was a leftist. In my mind, I'm like, I want to be like a black guy, because I want to promote black culture. And so what if you have baby out of wedlock? I'm just selfish, and I'm just anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-religion, and anti-society. And yeah, I'll have a baby out of wedlock because I'm selfish narcissist, and it doesn't matter. So I was still thinking a Darwinian lens, low level of software, low level of consciousness, and I got a 38-year-old drug addict single mom pregnant, which was not intelligent. I wasn't in the flow, but it's because I was, in my mind, I'm like, good is bad and bad is good. If you're bad, you're actually closer to the flow. And really, I was just selfish, and I just wanted to be superior, and kind of like Andrew Tate, like Andrew Tate talks about, like he wants to have as many children as possible. And that's the way that I was looking at it. And it's like, I didn't care. I wasn't in the flow. I didn't care about, that the baby bringing a baby into the world into a single mother with a single mother from another dad, Salvadorian kid could be sex trafficked. Bad stuff could happen. But I didn't think about that. I was thinking selfishly, I'll just have a baby and increase my genes, and I'll have a baby. I'll go to Israel and have babies with other women, so I was or another woman. So I made a selfish, stupid mistake, and I was thinking too much of myself and promoting myself, as opposed to, as my grandpa talks about, transcending the self. And when you transcend the self, it doesn't mean that you're, in a hermitage and an ascetic. It means that you transcend the ego until you could be in pure awareness and see things as they are, and not in a contaminated way like I did when I, basically selfishly had a baby out of wedlock with a single mom who's a drug addict, So if I was intelligent and I was in the flow, I wouldn't have put myself in that situation. But again, I was a leftist. I believed in Darwinism. I was anti-religion. I thought the good is bad and the bad is good, because as my grandpa taught, and I tried to, morph my grandpa's teachings to my liking. Because my grandpa taught that the bad is good and the good is bad. If you could be on the left-handed path and still get in the flow, and you could be on the right-handed path and not be in the flow. So again, I was just, I was not in the flow. And I made a serious mistake. But again, it was probably beneficial because, as my grandpa told me, pain pushes and possibilities pull. And that was pain that pushed me out of that mindset, because I went through a lot of pain. And I don't know if I would have broken free of it and had the revelation that I was anti-white, Marxist, not in the flow, if it wasn't for the death of my daughter, which is about to happen next in the story. So, as I said, my ex was pregnant, probably like 3-4 months at this point. And she's Snapchatting another guy, smiling as she Snapchats him, hiding her phone. And, I go in the bathroom and she screams because she thinks I have her phone. And no, I was just going to the bathroom. So she's clearly hiding something serious. And then I ended up asking her, like, so who's this Jared guy? She's like, oh, I said, he's a nerd. And because she had told me that he was a nerd when I first asked. And she's like, he's not a nerd. And she's like, oh, he's a lawyer. So it's like, oh, so you're Snapchatting a lawyer. You want to fuck a lawyer, this Jared guy. So as I said, she ended up having a threatened miscarriage. I took her to the emergency room. We got back together, but she had to go to see the doctor again. So we saw the doctor. The doctor get an ultrasound, saw the baby. It was like 3-4 months at this point. The baby was very healthy. Said it had a very strong heartbeat. He said it's going to be a very healthy baby. But we didn't know at the time it was a girl. But I would later find out that it was a girl. But and the thing was, my ex really wanted a boy, so I think that might have played a part in why she had the abortion. But the doctor said the baby was very healthy, and I was very happy about that. But again, I was just selfish. I was thinking, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a dad, and that's a way for me to be superior. I spread my genes, So I was still looking at things in a Darwinian sense, and I was still stuck in the self, and I had transcended the self yet into oneness consciousness, and I didn't think about the implications of me having a baby out of wedlock, with a drug addict, you know. So there was a lot of factors, a lot of things I didn't take into consideration. So then, as I said, because my ex had said that she wanted to have play dates with Malik, with his daughter, with her daughter, her little brown daughter, and a part of that was I feel like she was kind of anti-white too, because again, she had a Jewish stepdad, and she had a little brown daughter. So I remember there was this little white girl, and my ex didn't want her daughter playing with the white girl, because I think she said something about like she didn't want her around those types of people, and maybe she thought that like the white girl would be racist. So she had her daughter playing with this little black girl. So maybe she also wanted to have play dates with Malik's daughter because Malik's daughter would be black and her daughter was brown. So, but at the same time, that's dualistic software in and of itself, or it could be, but regardless, my point is, I got upset about that because I'm like, why would you ask me that? That's fucked up. And my friends all said that was messed up that she asked that. So after the doctor's meeting, I told her, because, I was like, you don't need to see this doctor, because she needed to see this particular doctor. I was like, you don't need to see him. You could see a different doctor. And the doctor was kind of black. He was Jewish, kind of black. And I was like, and plus I told her, black people tend to have lower IQs. So you can find another doctor. Like, this guy isn't necessarily the end all and be all. But she really liked this doctor. Maybe because he was black, I don't know. But so I was like, but she's like, he's not even black, he's Jewish. And I was like, okay, but still, like, you could find another doctor. But the reason why I said that was because I was still upset about her wanting to have a play date with my black friend Malik. And I was trying, and I wanted to tell her, like, he couldn't even pass the SATs, and blah blah, and say all this stuff about him, right? But and black people, so because I was upset about that, and that she wanted to do that. But then so she said something like, we were supposed to get a shabu that night. And then she was like, I don't want to eat with you because you said that racist thing about black people having lower IQs. And but again, like I said before this, I was always anti-white, and I wanted race mixing, and I wanted to destroy the white race. And then, like I said, the poison that I let out came back to get me. Because then, I was pro-feminist, I was pro-abortion. And then that ended up coming back to bite me. I was a leftist. I saw myself as Jewish, and I wanted to destroy the white race. So, and I thought that the people who were for abortion were just white supremacists, and the feminists were just white supremacists. They just want to make women into baby makers. But then now I'm starting to see, all the poison that I was letting out. Then my girlfriend, who's pregnant with my baby, she's like, you remember, she was like, you're just jealous that I want to go to the party without you. Like, that's just jealous. It's like, no, that's disrespectful, and clearly you're immature. That's immature, You don't need to go to a party when you're 38 years old when you're pregnant, But that's the type of stuff that I wanted to promote, and because I was against Nazism, and I was against the white race, and against conservatives, against Fox. So all the poison that I let out, like, yeah, that's not the flow, and my, just treat people as individuals. There's no such thing as race. It's all social construction, and everything just came back to bite me. And then, so all of my propaganda, all of my ideologies that I was trying to disseminate for race mixing, for dissolving the family because the family is just white supremacist, and I'm a Marxist, I was a Marxist, it all ended up coming back to bite me. So I saw the fruits. I saw my white girlfriend who had an El Salvadorian brown daughter, because the people like me who saw them, I saw myself as Jewish, and I wanted to destroy the white race. We did an effective job. I did an effective job of brainwashing the masses and making it seem really cool to be brown and really bad to be white. And so she has a little brown daughter, and she's like, and she's like the ultimate example of the white race being destroyed by that propaganda, because like she had a white dad who, and her Italian mom broke up with him, and ended up fucking a Jewish psychologist, fucking fat bitch, because I ended up talking to that guy. He's a bitch. So that's what ended up happening. And so she herself, she had this Jewish stepdad. She probably was indoctrinated with the feminist, leftist ideology, anti-white, and I was always anti-white, but then it ended up coming back to bite me. So then she's like, "Can I have play date with your friend Malik?" And she's like, Snapchatting a guy behind my back, wanting to go to parties and thinking that I'm jealous. And this was before Andrew Tate became popular. So at the time, I didn't have any backup, because now I would say, like, look, Andrew Tate and all these guys agree with me that that's fucked up. But at that time, before Andrew Tate, I was like, maybe I am jealous. My grandpa taught me that nothing belongs to anybody. Everything is one. So maybe I should just, but that's not true. My grandpa would say you discern their software, and my ex was showing a lower level of software, not a oneness consciousness. She wasn't in oneness consciousness. She wanted it was self-indulgence. But again, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she just wanted to go to party because she wants to expand her awareness, and, she wants to hang out with her friend. That's fine. But regardless, she was being disrespectful of me. She's laying down with her feet toward me. She's Snapchatting a guy in front of me, doing that type of stuff. And, she could have handled the situation a lot better than she did if she wanted her baby to survive. But, she ended up killing my daughter. So I'm jealous. So I ended up going back to her place, and we ended up picking up her daughter, and we went back to her place, and I was like, can I come in? Because, we were supposed to get something to eat, but she was like, and her daughter was like, yeah, Ryan, let Ryan in. I want Ryan to come in. So I was like, yeah, see, your daughter wants me to come in. So she's like, okay, you can come in for a few minutes. So I went up into her apartment, and I started to tell her, I was like, I was upset because I knew she was rejecting me. She was like, we were supposed to go out to eat, but because you said the racist thing about black people having lower IQs, I don't want to eat with you tonight. So I was like, and again, I recognize that not all black people have lower IQs, but I was upset because she had wanted to, I thought that she wanted to fuck my black friend. So I started to talk to her. I was like, so just tell me the truth. I was like, do you still want to have play dates with my black friend's daughter, with Malik's daughter? And she was like, I don't know. I was like, what would you do on those play dates? So what, you would go to a park and you guys would sit there and watch your daughters play around, and would I be invited? And she's like, yeah, you can come. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So you and Malik are going to go to the fucking park, and you're going to sit around, and then what are you going to do after? You guys are going to just, he's not going to come back to your place after, right? You're just going to go to the park and they play around, or are they going to have the play date at your place? She's like, no, just at the park. And I was like, okay, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Oh, so you still want me to give you his number? She's like, if you want to. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, you think she really has zero respect for me. She had zero respect, and that was very clear. So I was just like, okay, so you want me to give you his number still, okay? She's like, I don't know, whatever you want to do. And I was like, okay, and I want to know who the fuck Jared is. So I said, I would like for you, if you're texting him while you're pregnant with my baby, I didn't know it was a daughter at the time. While you're pregnant with my baby, it would be nice as if I can talk to him and see what's going on. And I'm like, you broke my trust, because now I even question, maybe he's the fucking dad. Maybe you're using me. I don't know what's going on. You're Snapchatting this guy. How do I know that you never had sex with this guy? How do I know that maybe he's not the dad? But even though I knew in the back of my mind that I was the dad, I just felt really disrespected. So I was like, I would like to talk to this Jared guy. She's like, no, it's not going to happen. So then she ended up calling my mom and telling my mom that I was being mean to her and that she wanted me to leave her apartment. So then my mom was like, my mom told me to leave, and I ended up leaving. So that's when my ex and my mom start to become buddies, because my mom was like, in my mom's mind, she's like, see, I knew he was a bad guy. See, he is mentally ill. He is a bad guy. And then my ex gets to say, oh yeah. You see, I have his mom on my side. His mom also believes he's mentally ill, which is a fucking false. The doctor said I'm not mentally ill. So my mom is like, now buddies with my ex, because now my mom could say, see, I knew it. And then she could tell my dad, see, even he can't even, he's being mean to the mother of his child. He's a piece of shit. No wonder we don't talk to him. No wonder we don't see him. And then everybody can get their fucking ideas confirmed. So So yeah, so then my ex texts me later, and she's like, Ryan, I think that unless you start getting mental health, you start taking medicine and getting mental health therapy and stuff, you will not be allowed to see your daughter. And she said, and so then I sent her a bunch of, because I had some put on a YouTube video of the documents that the doctor gave me when my mom tried to force me to go to see a psychiatrist, and the documents that showed me getting the MMPI and the psychological testing and all the and the interviews and all that stuff, and how the doctor said Ryan does not need medicine, he is highly functioning, he does not have a mental illness. So I showed her that stuff. I was like, no, I don't need fucking medicine. I'm not mentally ill. What are you talking about? Because she now she's buddies with my mom. And later I would try to talk about my mom with her, and she'd be like, I love your mom. Your mom is so cool. I love your mom. Yeah, but she's not. My mom, but you don't know what it was like to be fucking the best basketball player in the country, and then have your dad destroy your shot and destroy you, and have your mom go, what's wrong with you? You can't fucking shoot anymore. You can't get your fucking head together. It wasn't my fault. It was a shoot away machine. So now my ex is like, she says, unless you take medicine, you're not going to be allowed to see. And she didn't say your daughter because we didn't know it was a daughter at the time. You're not going to be allowed to see her. You'll never see your baby unless you start taking medicine. So I showed her that stuff, that I don't have a mental illness. So then she was like, she texted me, okay, well, if you take neurofeedback, whatever, some other thing. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do that. So, but again, I would be texting her, asking her, how's everything going? And, because she had to get a cerclage, but she was waiting too long to get the cerclage. So I'm texting her, what's going on? When are you going to get your cerclage? She's disrespectful and just acting stupid the whole fucking pregnancy. So then finally she gets the cerclage. And then but the doctor told her that she needed to be on bed rest because her cervix was short. So she got a cerclage, which is like a surgery that like fastens her uterus or whatever. And the doctor said that she needed to get, and I didn't know that she needed to do this until she was pregnant. She told me all this, that she would have to do this. So then the doctor told her that she needed to be on bed rest. So then my ex tells me, Ryan, I need to be on bed rest. If this baby's going to survive, you're going to need to take care of me. You're going to need to take care of me for the rest of this pregnancy. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I'll talk about what happens next. But